Good morning, friends! I'm Arthur, and welcome back to the Senior Strength Show. Now, before we dive into today's shocking revelation, if you're over 60 and think eating eggs every morning is helping you stay healthy, hit that subscribe button right now. Because in the next few minutes, you're going to learn something that could literally save your life. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Sarah Martinez, a geriatric nutrition specialist with over 25 years of experience studying how food affects seniors very differently than the rest of us. Doctor, you've raised some serious eyebrows by saying 90% of seniors are making a deadly mistake with eggs. Is it really about how we cook them?
It's both simpler and more complicated than that. Yes, the cooking method plays a role, but there's also a specific time of day that turns eggs toxic for seniors, and most people eat them exactly at that time.
A specific time that makes eggs toxic? Now, that's something I didn't expect. But before we spill that secret, which we will in just a few minutes, let's help everyone understand why eggs affect seniors so differently in the first place.
That's where it begins. Because if we skip the why, no one's going to believe how serious this really is. After 60, the body becomes what I call an egg processing disaster zone. And I'll explain exactly what that means right after we look at the warning signs that your body may already be sending.
That sounds dramatic, but I know our viewers are wondering, how can they tell if they're already experiencing this so-called egg poisoning?
Great question. Let's do a quick self-check. If you're eating eggs regularly and you're dealing with any of the following: morning brain fog that doesn't go away with coffee, energy crashes in the afternoon, bloating after meals, or those stubborn dark circles under your eyes, then something may already be going wrong. And here's the one that shocks most people. If you wake up feeling like you've got a hangover, even though you haven't touched a drop of alcohol, that's often a sign of egg toxicity in seniors.
A hangover from eggs? That just sounds crazy.
I get that reaction a lot, but it's true. I've seen it countless times. Those toxins from undigested egg proteins, they act just like alcohol in your system. Headaches, fatigue, nausea, even that foggy, unwell feeling that lingers all day.
Well, now I'm officially concerned. I eat eggs most mornings, and I've definitely had those crashes. But back to that timing you mentioned earlier. When exactly does egg consumption become most dangerous?
I promise we'll get there. But before I share that critical detail, you need to understand how most seniors are preparing eggs in a way that's creating the same toxic compounds found in cigarette smoke. And yes, you heard that right. We're going there.
Cigarette smoke? Okay, we definitely need to hear more about that. But first, folks, drop a comment if you've been noticing those symptoms, because I think this conversation might be more relevant to you than you think. Doctor, tell us about this egg processing disaster zone. What exactly is going on inside our bodies after age 60?
Here's the science. After 60, your stomach acid production can drop by up to 40%. Your liver enzymes, especially the ones that manage cholesterol, become sluggish, and your gallbladder slows down dramatically. That's a triple hit. Together, they create the perfect storm for egg toxicity. Your body simply can't digest eggs like it used to. The proteins sit there, undigested, and begin to ferment.
Ferment? That sounds like something you'd find in a compost bin, not your stomach.
Sadly, that's exactly the point. Those fermenting egg proteins create two toxins, putrescine and cadaverine. And yes, they are as foul as they sound. They're also found in rotting meat.
So, are you saying that my morning eggs are turning into something close to roadkill inside my body?
That's not far off. And here's what makes it worse. Those toxins don't just stay in your gut. They enter your bloodstream, affecting your liver, brain, and even your heart. And I still haven't revealed the worst time to eat eggs. But when I do, It's going to change the way you think about breakfast forever.
So you're saying decades of seniors eating eggs in the morning may have been doing serious damage?
Yes. And the worst part, they genuinely believed they were doing something healthy. But wait until you hear how people are cooking these eggs. It's even more dangerous than the timing.
All right, doctor, our viewers have been holding on for this. What's the most dangerous time to eat eggs that turns them toxic for seniors?
It's going to surprise everyone. The worst time for seniors to eat eggs is first thing in the morning on an empty stomach.
That's exactly when most people eat them.
Exactly. But after 60, your stomach's acidity is weakened. So when you eat dense proteins like eggs with no other food in your system, digestion slows dramatically. The eggs don't break down. They sit there, fermenting, turning into a toxic mess before your body can even do anything useful with them. And it doesn't happen just once. It happens every morning, which is why symptoms build slowly and people don't connect the dots.
But eggs have been a breakfast staple for generations. Are you saying the medical field got it wrong?
Not exactly. The advice made sense for younger, healthy adults in their 20s and 30s, but it simply doesn't apply to aging bodies. That's the dangerous assumption. What works for the young doesn't always work for the aging. And I'll go deeper on that in a minute. But first, we need to talk about the way eggs are cooked, because even if you eat them later in the day, most seniors are still preparing them in the most harmful way possible. And one particular cooking method, it produces the same cancer-causing chemicals found in cigarette smoke. Stay with me here. We're going to unpack that next.
You said something earlier about scrambled eggs being dangerous. That's hard to believe. People love their scrambled eggs.
I know. But scrambling eggs at high heat causes them to undergo what's called the Maillard reaction. That's a chemical reaction that creates heterocyclic amines, compounds also found in charred meat and tobacco smoke.
You're telling me my scrambled breakfast is as bad as a cigarette?
It's not the same degree of harm, but the compounds are chemically similar. And here's the kicker. Your body, after 60, is less able to detoxify those compounds, which means the damage accumulates. But high heat isn't the only problem. It's when you combine that with the wrong foods that most people always pair with eggs. And I'll share those specific combinations in a moment, because once you hear them, you may realize you've been doing it for decades without ever questioning it.
Wait, you're saying it's not just how we cook them, but also what we eat with them?
Exactly. And the most dangerous combo? It's something nearly every senior has had for breakfast.
Okay, now I'm nervous. What's this deadly combo?
Eggs plus refined carbs. I'm talking about toast, potatoes, pancakes, even that morning bagel. When you combine high-heat eggs with those starchy carbs, it creates the perfect environment for harmful gut bacteria to explode. The carbs feed the bacteria. The eggs feed the toxins. And the result? Bloating, inflammation, and over time, serious damage to your gut lining, liver, and even brain.
So, my scrambled eggs and toast breakfast, the one I've had for 40 years, is actually sabotaging me?
Sadly, yes. I call it the senior health destroyer. And while that sounds dramatic, it's accurate. But here's the good news. We're not here to scare people. We're here to empower them. In a few moments, I'll walk you through exactly how to prepare eggs safely, and even better, how to make them beneficial again for aging bodies.
Doctor, let's dive into the science for a second. What exactly is happening at a cellular level when eggs go wrong in a senior's body?
Glad you asked. When seniors can't properly digest egg proteins because of low stomach acid and sluggish bile flow, those proteins ferment in the colon. That fermentation produces biogenic amines such as putrescine and cadaverine. Not only do they sound awful, they are awful. These toxins have to be filtered by the liver. Now here's the critical part. After 60, your liver's detox capacity declines naturally. It's like asking a part-time janitor to clean up a full-time mess. But hang on, before I tell you the single worst symptom to watch out for, let me explain what liver overload actually looks like day to day. Many seniors miss it entirely.
So these symptoms, what are we talking about?
Think morning stiffness that won't go away, yellowish or uneven skin tone, persistent fatigue even after rest, and what I call toxic brain, that foggy-headed feeling, trouble focusing, emotional swings. Most seniors think it's just aging, but it's not.
That sounds like half the people I know.
Exactly. But here's the turning point. About 80% of my patients who follow the Safe Egg protocol see dramatic improvements in just a few weeks. And I'll reveal some of those real-life cases in a moment. But first, we need to talk about the one egg that seniors think is healthiest, but it's actually the most dangerous of all.
Now you've really got us on edge. Which eggs are you talking about?
The raw or undercooked ones. Things like soft-boiled eggs with runny yolks, poached eggs that aren't fully set, or worse, people who drink raw eggs thinking it's great for protein. Those preparations might be fine for younger folks, but for seniors, they're a health disaster.
Are we talking about all those health nuts who blend raw eggs into their smoothies?
Yes, and it might work for a 25-year-old athlete, but for someone over 60? Raw eggs contain avidin, which blocks biotin absorption, leading to nutrient deficiencies, not to mention the bacteria risk. I've had senior patients hospitalized from eggs that would have barely upset a younger stomach.
That's honestly terrifying. So we're looking at two big mistakes, wrong timing and wrong preparation. But surely there's a right way to do it.
There is. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how seniors can eat eggs safely and powerfully. But before that, let me show you why scrambled eggs, yes, even yours, might be doing more harm than good.
All right, doctor. Enough suspense. Let's talk solutions. What does a safe egg routine actually look like for seniors?
Happy to break it down. I call it the Senior Safe Egg Protocol. And when followed properly, it can transform energy, digestion, even mental clarity in just a few weeks. Let me start with timing, because even if you do everything else right, but eat eggs first thing in the morning, it cancels out the benefits. Here's the protocol. Timing. Never eat eggs on an empty stomach. Wait at least 2 hours after waking. Start the day with something light, like fruit or a bit of oatmeal. Preparation. Avoid high heat. The best methods are steam poaching or low-temperature pan cooking with a lid. Let it cook slowly, gently. And I'll explain the most important part in just a second, because it's the one mistake even healthy eaters are making without realizing it.
What about food combinations? Does that still matter if we cook them right?
Yes, and it's huge. You should always pair eggs with fiber-rich vegetables like spinach, broccoli, or asparagus. Why? Because the fiber binds to toxins and supports smoother digestion. Now here's where people mess up. They follow all of this, but still eat eggs every day. Frequency. Seniors should limit egg intake to 3 to 4 per week. Your liver needs recovery time between meals that involve animal protein. Daily eggs? That's overload.
Let's make it real. Any memorable cases where this protocol made a dramatic difference?
Absolutely. Let me tell you about Margaret, 72. She came in exhausted with brain fog so bad she forgot where she parked every day. She'd been eating scrambled eggs with toast every morning for decades. After just 3 weeks on the protocol, her clarity returned, energy went up, digestion normalized. She told me, "I feel like I woke up from a fog I didn't know I was in."
That's powerful. Anyone else?
Yes, Robert, 69. His family thought he had early dementia, memory lapses, mood swings, confusion. But once we changed his breakfast and fixed how he was cooking his eggs, 6 weeks later, he was back. His wife said, "I feel like I have my husband again."
Are there warning signs where someone should stop eggs completely?
Yes. If you're experiencing things like severe bloating, yellowing skin or eyes, persistent nausea, or signs of liver dysfunction, stop immediately and consult your doctor. And seniors with gallbladder disease or advanced liver conditions should avoid eggs entirely until those issues are managed.
What about medication? Any risks there?
Definitely. Seniors on blood thinners need to be cautious. Egg yolks affect vitamin K levels, and anyone on cholesterol medication should monitor with their doctor before changing their egg habits.
For folks watching right now, what's the action plan they can start today?
Here's your 3-phase emergency action plan. Today, stop eating eggs on an empty stomach. Even if that's the only change, it makes a big difference. This week, switch to low-heat cooking only. No scrambling, frying, or hard boiling at high temps. This month, limit eggs to 3 to 4 per week. Pair with veggies and keep a symptom journal. Write down how you feel.
What changes can people realistically expect?
Within a week, less bloating, clearer thinking, more stable energy. By the 3rd week, many feel years younger. I've seen patients cancel follow-up tests because their symptoms vanished.
Doctor, if you could leave seniors with just one takeaway, what would it be?
This isn't your fault. You were following advice that worked for younger bodies. But now that you know how aging changes your biology, you have power. You can choose differently. You can feel better. Don't accept fatigue, foggy thinking, or digestive distress as normal. In many cases, they're correctable.
That's so hopeful. And to our viewers, please hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. This kind of life-saving information is exactly why the Senior Strength Show exists. If someone you love is eating eggs the wrong way, share this video with them right now. It might literally save their life.
And remember, how you eat matters as much as what you eat, especially after 60.
Thank you, Doctor, and thank you to everyone watching. Until next time, stay strong, stay informed, and stay healthy.